Hey Magic fans, and welcome to the Let's Talk Magic podcast game day preview. We are talking game day number 57 for the Magic, and we are coming off an excellent team win where tonight the Magic look to triumph in Detroit against the Pistons, a team that have stalled all season long. The venue is the Little Caesar Arena in Detroit, Michigan, and you are looking at a 1 a.m. UK tip, which is 8 p.m. in Orlando and Detroit. Here in the UK, to watch the game live or on demand, you are going to need an active NBA League Pass subscription. As we always do, going to talk about the Magic first. So, looking at the regular season, 31-25 record we hold. We've won our last 2 games and are 7-3 in the last 10 played. On the road, a 13-17 record, and we stand 8th in the East. I'll talk about that more later on. Points per game, scoring 111.8, which is an increasing number, and conceding 110.8, rated on offence at 23rd in the NBA, which again, we've started to see ourselves climbing up the league here, and still standing solid at 4th in defensive rating, the 4th best defensive rated team. First night of a back-to-back for the Magic, and we are playing in Atlanta tomorrow. Looking at back-to-backs this season, the Magic are faring better than last. First night of a back-to-back, we are at 5-6 so far this season, and on the second night, it's 3-8. They are improving figures from where we were, and let's be honest, magic and drama have seemingly gone hand in hand on the road this season. 30 road games played, 14 decided by a margin of 5 points or less, and 10 of those by 3 points or less. Now throw in the home game that was in Mexico City, and that statistic becomes 15-11. Tight games. So hopefully we don't have that tonight in Detroit. Last time out for the Magic, a impressive road win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, 116-109, as the NBA resumed on February the 22nd after the All-Star break. This was, as we said in the introduction, a team win, and it's one that drew heavily on the bench. The support that those guys provided was beyond valuable for that win. The Magic came out strong. Starting unit putting up a 14-point lead early on. Cleveland worked their way back, and but across the game they actually held a lead or were tied with the Magic across the entire 48 minutes for less than 8 of those minutes. Shows how strong a performance the Magic did put together here. Coach Mosley, he was happy to ride the hot hand and the impact players on that night, playing what felt like some different rotations as he followed those instincts of sticking with the guys that were playing well. Interestingly, the 5 reserves that all played had a positive plus minus. That wasn't the case with the 5 starters. They all had a negative. It just shows how important the bench were for us. Mo Wagner, he led all scorers, and he came from the bench for 22 points and 7 rebounds. He was all energy. He worked his backside off. Brother Franz, 14 points, and he led the starting 5. You then have to look. Next best scores came from the bench. Cole Anthony with 13 points to go along with 6 assists. Good to see Cole looking rejuvenated. Joe Ingles posted 12 points. Paolo Banchero as a starter played through illness, and despite having a night where he looked a little slower and his energy levels looked down and he was less aggressive, he still finished 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Unfortunately, that did see an end to his 18-game straight road record where he'd scored 20 plus points in those games, and that's a stat that tied Tracy McGrady for the second longest streak in the Magic's 35-year history. Shame that finished there, but so be it. Also recording double-digit scoring was Wendell Carter Jr. with also 12 points. Jalen Suggs, he exited the game early in the third quarter, taking in an advertent elbow to the back of the head from our own Wendell Carter Jr. Starting lineup was Jalen Suggs, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr. From the bench we saw just 5 players: Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, Anthony Black, Joe Ingles and Mo Wagner. Caleb Houston, Chuma Okeke and Goga Bitadze were all available, but coach's decision to not play. Markel Fultz, Jet Howard, Admiral Schofield, Kevon Harris and Trevelyan Queen were all inactive for the Magic. Tonight, firstly, Jalen Suggs is available. He didn't return to the court, as we said, during that Cleveland game after the elbow strike from Wendell during the third quarter. But Coach Mosley made it very, very clear that Jalen could have done if the team had needed him. But they were able to let him rest, and he is available tonight. Unfortunately, Markel Fultz is confirmed as out again with a knee issue. Put my teeth in, lads, so I'll get there, don't worry. This is the third consecutive game that he will be absent, which has spanned the final game, New York, going into All-Star, across All-Star, and then the Cavaliers game. It's what's listed as injury management. The Cleveland Cavaliers commentary in our last game did refer to that they were wondering if it was something more than just injury management. We'll have to see, but let's hope we get Markel back because he has been impactful for us. Jet Howard, again, he is assigned to the G League with the Osceola Magic. Kevon Harris and Trevelyan Queen are also listed as out, being two-way G League. I don't think it's likely that we see any great changes from the coach. I think he'll go with that starting five with Fultz being out and Jalen Suggs being available. I think we'll see the same groups come out. Looking at the Detroit Pistons, really poor season for them guys, and you have to feel for their fan base. 8-47 record, lost 4 on the trot, and are 3-7 in the last 10 play. They stand 15th, which is last in the Eastern Conference. Points per game, they are scoring 112.9 and conceding a really awful 122.2. Rated on offence at 25th and 29th on D. At home, the Pistons have also had a very poor record, 4-23 on the season. If you are a Detroit fan watching this and you turn up for them games day in, day out, absolute respect for you. The fact that this is the Pistons' first home game since the Magic visited on February the 4th shows that on the run-up to an All-Star, they had a long road stretch. It has affected their statistics since we last played them a little bit as well, as has the trade deadline. This team still takes the most 2-point shots per game in the league, but they only have a 53.2% success rate, which is 22nd in the league. So they take a lot, but they're also quite inaccurate. That includes 52.4 points in the paint per game, which is tied 9th most with the Magic for points in the paint. They are very strong on the offensive rebound, and that's a contributory factor in scoring 13.7 second chance points, which is mid-league. Oh, God, I'm having a nightmare here. On defence, they are mid-league for restricting opponents' second chance points. They restrict 3-point opportunities for their opponents, but they concede heavily on those attempts that actually get put up. They concede on 38% of the shots that are taken. They are turnover prone and concede off of those alongside fast breaks and points in the paint. It's a woeful tale for the Pistons fans as far as defence is concerned. Cade Cunningham, he's played and started in the 45 games this season that he's been available. He is the team leader. He scores 22.1 points per game and 7.5 assists. Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duran, you can't ignore their scoring contribution, nor can you ignore deadline pickup Simeone Fontecchio, who in the 4 games with Detroit is averaging 15 points per game. Jalen Duran, Isaiah Stewart, Isaiah Thompson are providing rebounds and blocks. Duran is averaging a points and rebounds double-double per game. Last time out for the Pistons, they... Oh dear, I don't know if you've watched it or not, but their defence was not good. They took a 115-129 road defeat to the Indiana Pacers, also February the 22nd. The opening 6 minutes of that first quarter were as close as the game would be, and that saw the Pistons have their only lead or tied score in that period, and that was a grand total of 1 minute and 32 seconds across the game. It just shows how dominant the Pacers really were in this game. At half time, the Pistons were down 43-72. Honestly, at that point, you start thinking it's all but done. But in fairness to the Pistons, they did rally. They came back in that third quarter, cut the lead from the Pistons by 15 on the back of a 45-point quarter. Cade Cunningham led with 30 points and 8 assists. Jalen Duran 15 points, 13 rebound, double-double. 14 points registered by Jaden Ivey and Simeone Fontecchio. Ozair Thompson, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. He's now in the starting unit. A familiar name to Magic fans, Evan Fournier led the bench with 10 points. He attempted only 4 field goals in that game in almost 18 minutes played. All those efforts came from beyond the arc, and he made 3 of the 4 attempts. Starting unit, Cade Cunningham, Simeone Fontecchio, Ozair Thompson, Jalen Duran and Jaden Ivey. You are looking at tonight, Isaiah Stewart. He is out. He remains suspended for 3 games following an on-court altercation. Quentin Grimes is day-to-day, but probable he has a knee issue. Detroit head coach Monty Williams has used a fair few starting units this season. Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart, who we say is out, and Jalen Duran have all been their consistent starters. Jaden Ivey, Ozair Thompson have been the others to see high stats as far as starts go. It's reasonable to expect that Detroit will run with that same unit as against Indiana. Head-to-head with Detroit, 125 regular season games played, and the score stands at 55-70 to the Pistons. It's the third of 4 meetings this season. First game this season was on game day 22. Injury-ravaged Magic had a bounce-back 91-123 home win. Consigned the Pistons at that point to their 19th consecutive loss, and Orlando won all 4 quarters on the back of Franz Wagner with 27 points and Paolo Banchero with 24. Magic went to Little Caesars Arena on game day 50, which was February the 4th. Slow start for the Magic, but we took a 111-99 victory. The Pistons did put a strong effort in, and they were level with us early in that final period. Magic's death lineup closed it out, holding the Pistons to just 2 points in the final 3 minutes. Franz Wagner matched a career high of 38 points, a score he achieved without taking a single free throw, and Paolo Banchero put up 20 points, 6 rebounds and 7 assists. The final meeting between the two this season comes on March the 3rd in Orlando, so very soon. Last season, it was a tie to all. Each team won their home games, and Orlando and Detroit have been recently exchanging short runs of wins. Orlando have won the last 4 played, Detroit the 3 before that, and in the last 14 it's 8-6 in favour of the Magic. Final thought, the Pistons will have a slightly different look since our last meeting. Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks both got traded at the deadline, so that's still some shooting sacrificed. The Magic will need to adapt to what is now another different starting 5 and to different group from the bench. Sticking to our core defensive principles will be the way. It will go a long way to settling the tone for the Magic in that game. There's no freebies in the NBA. We cannot underestimate what is in front of us. To get a win, Orlando will need to turn up and beat the team that is in front of them. Anything less than a full effort could easily see a very much unwanted loss in what is a pivotal part of the season. 26 games remaining for the Magic, and on paper it is the easiest schedule in the NBA that the Magic have. The Eastern Conference playoff race is exceptionally close this season. Only 5 wins separate Cleveland in 2nd from the Magic in 8th. For the Magic, we have 15 home games to go, including an 8-game homestand, and we have 11 on the road. 16 of those remaining games are against teams ranked below 500, which is including the next 7 games that we play. It took Orlando to game day number 74 last season to reach 31 wins. That total this season has been achieved in 18 fewer games, and it sees Orlando challenging many teams that people considered to be our superiors at the start of the season. We are without doubt in a good and hugely exciting place to be. So, if you enjoyed this preview, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you follow our YouTube channel, give it a subscription and hit the notification button so you don't miss anything that we do put out. Follow us on our socials, but more importantly, let's go Magic and let's get that W tonight.